meeting of Chippewa County. I'm sorry, my bad.
All set.
Is Brian tonight or
Brian, yes.
Brian? Okay. All right, so we're good out there?
Good to go.
Okay, we'll try it again here. Pledge of allegiance, Commissioner Trainer, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Morant,
Here.
Commissioner Savoy,
Here.
Commissioner Shackleton,
Here.
Commissioner Trainer,
Here.
and Chairman Martin.
Here. Do we have any additions or deletions from the agenda? Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner? I would entertain a motion then to accept the agenda as written.
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, county board minutes, the regular board February 16th. I'm sorry. Correspondence received, clerk's office 10A. Sorry about that.
Mr. Chair, I move that we acknowledge and forward as appropriate the correspondence received in the clerk's office.
Support. Motion and support for a lot of correspondence received. It's must have been seen about 15. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion passes. Next would be public comment. Rules here are pretty simple, 15 minutes per subject, 3 minutes per speaker. And you only get to go once, and we will not banter back and forth, but we will address those concerns at the end with committee reports or commissioner reports.
And Mr. Chair, I do not believe we had a first or second on the county board minutes.
I thought we-
Or denial, but did we?
Okay,
I make a motion to approve.
sorry about that.
Support.
Motion and support, sorry about that. Approval county board minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, now, public comment.
Go. I guess this will do it. You can see me okay. I'm Bev Evo and I live in Sioux Township. And I just wanted to come before you and as a reminder and an update that we have filed a complaint back in October concerning the qualified voter file. We had 40 signed affidavits from qualified voters in the community. And we've been trying to make contact and get an update on what the status is of the complaint. And because this is the governing body of the county, as I understand it, and who is the chief law enforcement officer of the county, I'm not positive about, but I saw 2 different names come up. But I wanted to remind people that this complaint is outstanding and we have citizens that are waiting for an answer. How do these voters go to the polls and cast their vote, put their little sticker on saying I voted, and a month or so later, maybe 2 months, they get information that according to the official Secretary of State qualified voter file shows they did not vote. How do you feel about that? What do you do? What's the answer? That's my comment. So if If you have any information, we surely would appreciate it. We've made several contacts with the sheriff's office and nothing. There's been appointments made. Nobody showed up. So something's not right here. Okay, that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello again. I'm a little bit out of the loop. I haven't been around a few months. But I'll read, you know I have to. We would like to have you tell us or show us just how much of the hospital property the county still owns, and each of you give us the pros and cons to keeping any small portion of the property. Of course, we don't expect that right this afternoon, but next month anyhow, we would like to hear from everybody and find out just who owns what. I realize I found out a little bit of a stuff earlier, but this is what I plan to say. I'll say the whole thing. I looked up property numbers and descriptions and ownership in the public record on the county website last night using the 500 Osborne and found 26 parcels, only 2 of which claim to be owned by War Memorial, and the others by mostly medical equipment companies, medical corporations, financial groups, etc. Nothing actually says My Michigan on in that public records on the tax thing, you know. So much happens to this body that concerns our whole community, and the community elects you to look after their best interests. And then we realize that these voters walk away from the voting booth and never look back until they are affected negatively by decisions made here. We aim to end this behavior not only for ourselves, but to educate the community. We fully believe you will see more community interaction in the gallery in the coming months. So clear layman's terms would be helpful, and better use of the microphones. And my suggestion is, since you Zoom this meeting, and I guess you do record it, that it be placed on the website somewhere to be reviewed by the people who can't hear anything when they're sitting in this gallery. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna try not to cry.
You're fine.
I'm shaking already. You know, I've been here before and I'm here again. Here I go. Amendment 1, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Amendment 2, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I'm telling you right now, I was here before, and wasn't taken serious, I don't think, in January, when I told you about the laws that were coming through. We have Elliott Larson expansion. You know what that means? It means if you guys don't make a stand, it means our law enforcement, our state troopers are going to be arresting our pastors. That's the facts of the laws that are coming through here. The Second Amendment laws that are coming through here aren't helping. They aren't doing anything but punishing law-abiding citizens right now. They've got nothing to do with anything of criminal activities. People, it's against the law to murder, period. Gun laws aren't going to prevent that. And it isn't going to prevent anyone that is a criminal from getting guns if they want it, or from making whatever kind of weapon they want. They do it in prison and they're not allowed anything. When people want to kill, they're going to kill. I want to know that this county is going to stand up for my right and for everybody else's rights to protect our families and ourselves. Because we don't have security guards. We don't have armed security. You know, you might think that I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm watching this state get run over with communism. I don't care what side of the aisle, it's not Republican and Democrat anymore. This is flat out communism. It's coming. And if you guys don't take a stand for us, we need to know, because just put it out there. Just let us know we don't care about your rights, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people here, a lot more people than I've seen. And some of us have to take time off work to get here. So it's important. There's things coming to this county. You know, you defend the right for a drag show on Ashman Street, and that's perfectly fine by the county. But we got laws coming through right now that's going to prevent a pastor from preaching against homosexuality, or from right now, Lansing is ordering your corrections officers to refer to pedophiles as minor attracted persons. This is coming out of Lansing, and this is affecting Chippewa County, because the prisoners in Chippewa County are the ones that are getting their rights protected.
Ma'am,
And my time's up.
yes, ma'am.
I am sorry for being in.
Oh, not at all. It's absolutely your
Passionate,
duty.
It's coming.
No problem.
It's coming.
Not to diminish what Tammy has said, I'm up here for some housekeeping and a couple of questions. It was brought to my attention that the county is hoping to buy the Lynn Auto Parts store. Is that correct? Am I hearing correctly?
We don't usually, we just let you talk.
Oh, okay. Well, if that is correct, then my hope will be that, as it was alluded to with Bev Evo, that we had gone into the sheriff's department and filed a complaint. And I want to tell this group that we were treated horribly. We had a little cubicle, not bigger than this little area right there. There were 4 of us, and plus the little guard that was in there. And we were trying to give all of our information on a criminal complaint while we had people from all over this building walking in and out on us while we're trying to talk to somebody. There was no place for them to take us so that we could have a conference room to sit and air something out and explain things. We were interrupted continuously. So I'm up here that if you do take on this Lynn Auto place, that you provide some kind of bloody conference room so that people can air their grievances out in some decorum of privacy, some decorum so that we're not interrupted all the time. And it would be nice if you would let your sheriff know, please, that when he has appointment with people, that he shows up. Because we've had several appointments with him. We've even gone in off guard, hoping we would catch him. He doesn't honor it, and he doesn't even get back to us. Emails that we send him. That's, to me, irresponsible and negligent of his job. And he responds to us. We're the voters. We're the ones that vote him in and vote him out. So same with you guys. So I'm hoping that you will take that into consideration, that we at least need to be treated with some kind of decorum of professionalism to be able to air our complaints in a quiet, private area. So that's my housekeeping consideration. And I'm Diane Passma, and I'm out at Bruce Township. Thank you.
Hi again, Kevin Kelchik, President of My Michigan Medical Center, SUE. And I'm just back here tonight because I wanted to address some of the comment from the commissioners last night. And I'm very thankful that you're here tonight. And I want to start out by saying that I am happy and available to talk to anybody that wants to talk about factual, transparent information about the hospital. So anybody that watches this later, please feel free to contact me. I wanted to start out by just saying that in 1986, the county and the hospital at that time, the county hospital, worked together to separate the hospital as an independent nonprofit 501c3. And the reason that they did that at that time is because the financing available in that manner for the 1988 building. Since that time, it's nearly 40 years that the hospital has operated independently as a nonprofit hospital. In the time that I've been there, almost 20 years, we had 420 employees in 2003. We have over 900 employees, so we're a good steward economically to the community. We've added a lot of services that many rural hospitals don't have: behavioral health, dialysis, obstetrics. Many hospitals are dropping those because they lose money. We continue to make those a focus. When we made that split, we entered into a master facility lease, and you wanted answers about the land. We absolutely agree that there is a portion of land that the county owns, and on that land, there are buildings that have been built in 1924, 1948, 1956, 1964, and 1988. And you own all of those buildings. Right now in the master facility lease, you are our landlord. So why do I come back here tonight to address some of the questions? Why was the lease out to 2081? Our lease is out to 2081 right now. Why was that acceptable during that period of time and it's not now? Well, it is acceptable now. Thank you for doing that for us then. And we appreciate that. And it is acceptable. Here's the difference and here's the reason. All we want to know is if this is something that we can move forward with, because it does make a difference. Why does it make a difference? I'd use the analogy: if you rented a home and you loved it at that home, it met all your family's needs, but you wanted a garage, would you invest $50,000 to build a garage on a home that you rented? You wouldn't do that. So what we're here to ask, and I'll address another question that came up. I've heard the comment, my Michigan isn't going to invest $60,000. That's not true at all. In fact, I shared last night that instead of 60 million over 10 years, they're committing 70 million over 7 years. We're in the process of a master facility plan that changes based on what our rights are. Right now, we're talking about new OR suites, outpatient OR suites. Do we build? So why we want to know if this is a possibility is, do we build on land that of our landlord and not have any rights eventually? Or do we build it on property that we own? Do we leave the behavioral health center out in Kinross? Or do we bring it into town to make it more effective and efficient for transports from, the county jail and those types of things?
Sure.
Yeah. In my time?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. No, I'm sorry. All I'd like to add is that the 3 reasons that I still think it's a great reason to be part of My Michigan is because of their expertise. They're part of 25 counties, serve over 1 million, you have 1 million community members in that. We have 15 million in maintenance, and the sustainability. Right now, we've lost 2.8 million in 8 months of operations. And in the past, we wouldn't be thinking about how we can spend $70 million. We would have been thinking about how we can cut services. Thank you.
Sir.
Chairman Martin, my name's Tim Moher, and I just want to respond a little bit to what Mr. Kelchik just said. Mr. Shackleton promised this commission in 2021 that if you extended the lease 25 years, that there would be an $86 million commitment by Mid-Michigan, now My Michigan. I'm troubled that they haven't spent a cent of that 86 million yet. And one of the really big things is they're supposed to retire the debt, okay? And they're talking to you about buying this, and they're putting you in a bad position, because if you don't agree on the price and they walk away, guess who pays the debt? The county. What I think should happen, and you have to talk about this with your legal counsel, is get that debt paid off so that you're in a position to bargain with My Michigan. I think it's horrible that they haven't retired that debt and it's over a year later. I think that's horrible because we were promised one thing and we didn't get it. And that puts you in a bad position.
Sure. Anybody else? Out in IT world, do we have anything?
I have no hands raised, Commissioner.
No hands? Public comment going once, going twice. Thank you for your input. Administrators report.
You have the monthly reports from the Health Department, Veterans Affairs, Sheriff's Department, and the Animal Shelter. If you have any questions on those numbers or any of the statements on there, please let me know.
Support. Motion and support to accept the administrator's report. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, next. Chippewa County Health Department annual report, page 20 in the packet.
Mr. Chair, I assume this is just a regular annual approval.
Yeah.
That we do as we function as the Health Department Board. Among our many hats we wear here. So I would move approval of the County Health Department annual report.
Support. Motion and support for the Chippewa County Health Department annual report. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Standing committee reports. Chairman's voice, sir.
The regular meeting of Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance Claims Accounts Committee was held yesterday, Tuesday, March 14th, here in this building. Meeting was called to order at 4:34 p.m. with quorum. All members were present. There were other members and guests. Approval of the agenda was moved by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Trainer to approve the agenda as amended on voice vote. Motion carried. I would so support.
Yeah, we have motion support for the approval of the agenda. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Public comment, we had several people speak. Correspondence and information items were presented with no action necessary. There was a presentation by North Care Network from Megan Rooney on our opioid litigation funds. Moved into agenda items. First was the Health Department contracts. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Trainer to approve, authorize the budget and additional $30,000 for the shack to purchase equipment, medical supply, and for cholesterol system, and mobile monitor and stand, and voice vote motion carried.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Health Department next was policies on subcutaneous button, client death and conflict of interest, moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Lawrence to authorize and approve the three policies. For the Health Department on voice vote, motion carried. I would so move.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Next was Health Department contract agreement, moved by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Trainer to authorize and approve the social work supervision agreement as presented on voice vote. Motion carried. I so move.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Health Department annual write-offs of environmental health, public health, shack, hospice, home health, and shack dental, moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Lawrence to approve the Chippewa County Health Department write-offs for services as listed on voice vote. Motion carried. I would so move.
Support. And support for Health Department annual write-offs. Any discussion? It just, we're we're not heading back to the old days, correct?
Correct.
Just to confirm. So. All right, anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Register of Deeds. It's moved by Commissioner Lawrence, supported by Commissioner Martin to approve and authorize the Register of Deeds office to add e-signing capabilities via their current software vendor, seek reimbursement from the state of Michigan Electronic Recording Commission grant on voice vote. Motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Veterans Affairs, moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Trainer to acknowledge and accept the changes to the Veteran Affairs grant to include lawn care and training and travel for the counselor to attend the county national training as approved by the Chippewa County Veterans Affairs Committee on February 28, 2023, and a voice vote. Motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support for Veteran Affairs grant. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next was Sheriff's Department, moved by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Trainer to approve and authorize adding e-citation units to patrol vehicles, to authorize a budget amendment for the purchases from Fund 232 and Wade County Policy Purchasing. On voice vote, motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Next is Sheriff's Department 10 in-car cameras, moved by Commissioner Trainer, supported by Commissioner Martin to approve and authorize the purchase of 10 in-car camera systems to seek the Burma RAP grant reimbursement and approve a equipment budget adjustment. On voice vote, motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Sheriff's Department inmate commissary, moved by Commissioner Lawrence, supported by Commissioner Trainer to approve and authorize Chippewa County Commission commissary service agreement as updated, a 5-year contract with the auto renewal for commissary services with added kiosks. On voice vote, motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Administration, recycling, moved by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Shackleton to approve and authorize signature for the renewal of the agreement between Chippewa County and Northern Transitions for Chippewa County Recycling Program collection and disposal agreement for a 4-year term. On voice vote, motion carried. I would so move.
Support and support. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry,
Could we?
discussion? Sorry, go ahead.
Did you have a chance to follow up with the issues we talked about?
I did not get an answer regarding the hours.
What
I
is
tried
the,
to look at I tried to look up my old email when we asked the question before, and I just didn't have, I ran out of time. Before.
okay, what's the timeliness of this lease being approved? Does it have to be done?
We can table it until we can get an answer.
So the issue is that they're closed on Saturday afternoons. And I mean, I've gotten complaints about it. And we don't have a lot of leverage here, except perhaps this. And I guess I would suggest that we table this and we talk to them to see if there isn't a way that they can accommodate the community's ability to go to the recycling center on Saturday afternoons. So I would make that motion.
I'll support it.
I would even go so far as to say, you know what, if they have to be closed extra time to keep their employees, then, you know, have them Sunday off, Monday off, and a half day Tuesday. I mean, if in this age now where the workers are in a lot of places calling the shots, if you got to give them 2.5 days instead of 2 days to retain your employees, then how about a time when they're not as busy and we as citizens are not as busy I mean, we got stuff to do. Weekend sometimes the only time you do it. So we have a motion to table this, and we have till January 2024. I mean, I only got one.
Okay, well, and again, I just agree with you on all that. And again, I don't want to necessarily throw rocks at them because I think they work hard. They do a good job up there. They provide a good service. But, you know, we have had, I think, appropriate concerns and complaints that they're not open Saturday afternoon, which is a very convenient time for a whole lot of people to do recycling.
Agreed. Any more discussion? All those in favor of tabling this issue for a month or so?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Next is Administration Policy 407, Jury Reimbursement Update, moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Lawrence to approve Policy 407 as presented on a voice vote. Motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support on jury reimbursement update. Very quickly, thank you for that, because my class gets to bail and bond and jury duty. And I was telling them $15, which is what it was last time I was on the jury. It's good to see it's gone up, because that's a long day for $15.
They won't buy you lunch at McDonald's these days.
Well, that was the one thing. We did have lunch. We had a good lunch from the Palace.
Oh.
They treated us well, but oh, such is life. All right. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Administration regular June meeting date, moved by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Shackleton to change the date of the June regular meeting from Thursday, June 15th to Wednesday, June 14th, due to conflicting schedules. On voice vote, motion carried. I so move.
Support.
Motion and support to move the meeting from Thursday, June 15th to Wednesday, June 14th. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Administration purchase a 3-story rolling scaffold tower for $1,656 plus delivery, moved by Commissioner Lawrence, supported by Commissioner Trainer to approve the purchase on voice vote. Motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support. I'll simply say another example of our county employees looking forward, saving us. I mean, I can't imagine what that cost to rent. It's got to be $500-600. So after 3 uses, it's all gravy. So good for whoever's idea that was. That's a good one. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Administration, it was moved by Commissioner Trainer, supported by Commissioner Lawrence to approve and authorize the release of 3 RFQs, 2 copiers for the friend of court and probate family court, and 1 for a new security camera system for the courthouse and county building on voice vote. Motion carried. I so move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Finance claims and accounts, County Health Department and County, moved by Commissioner Martin, supported by Commissioner Trainer, to recommend the approval of the February county bills and payroll, general claims, other fund claims, payroll, and health department claims and payroll, and all total claims on voice vote. Motion carried. I would so move.
Support.
Motion and support to pay the bills. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Committee comments. There were several commissioners spoke on the hospital. Under chairman comments, I also did speak about the hospital. Adjourned, it was moved by Commissioner Trainer, supported by Commissioner Lawrence to adjourn. The meeting was adjourned at 5:27 p.m. and I move for the acceptance and distribution of this report.
Support.
Motion and support to accept the finance claims and accounts committee meeting of March 14th as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have commissioner reports on meetings as board reps and general comments. Yes, sir.
I'd like to speak a little bit on some of the public comments there. One, the First Amendment. I think this commission is pretty well supports the Second Amendment, and we've been on record, and we will continue to do that. As far as new laws coming down from Lansing, we have nothing to do with making new laws. And unfortunately, with gun rights right now, the people elected in Lansing, they have the power, and they're making changes, and so is at the federal level. I don't know how we stop that. As far as the hospital, I think you gotta look at the objective here. What's our role as elected officials? And I can speak for myself. I want the best health care that we can have for the citizens of this country. Whatever it takes to do that. You know, there are services we need here bad. I mean, I drove my wife for cancer treatments to Petoskey January, February, when it's 20 and 30 below and blizzard. You know, maybe someday we can have those services here. So we're at the research phase of this possibility selling the hospital. It's at the discovery, the research. That's why I would ask for appraisals. We've got 2 appraisals. And what is it worth? And then we can't make a decision until we know what we have, what's the value of it. Then we'd have to, if we're going to sell it, we're going to sell it at fair market value, or we may not sell it. We make that decision, but before we do, we're going to seek legal counsel and clear up all of this. What is the long-term debt, and what about the lease, and what's our future liability? So we're at the very early discovery stage, but in the end, the best healthcare we can provide. People shouldn't have to travel to Petoskey to get a stent when they have a heart attack. Someday, if we can improve the healthcare system, that's my goal. So, I mean, don't think we're moving fast at this until we can complete the discovery portion of it and make an informed decision. You know, bear with us here, give us time.
Go ahead.
Several things that I know I'm gonna forget to address, one thing or two that I'll think of later, and then I wish I mentioned that. The one speaker asked if we were buying a particular building. I would just let her know that there's no decision made on that. As with other things we're discussing, we're doing research and trying to figure out what's the best way to meet the need for the county on behalf of the citizens. For the lady who talked about the Second Amendment, I'm with you 100%. I mean, I worked with Commissioner Lawrence before he was county commissioner in putting Chippewa County, where you were working with, what was the group at the time? Gun Owners of America or something. One of the pro Second Amendment group nonetheless. And yeah, we're totally pro. So I think I can speak for everybody here that we want to protect your Second Amendment rights. We're very limited on what we can do because we're just the county board. You know, the federal government sends down a new rule. The state of Michigan sends down a new rule. We're limited on what we can do. We can resist. We can urge them not to do it. We can do what we can do, but we are limited. I just saw something on the clip the other day where in Washington, a congressman and Jerry Nadler was asking a congressman, so what do you need a semi-automatic gun for? And he said, well, I use it on my farm, I use it for this, and I use it for that. He said, but don't diminish my Second Amendment rights just to be for hunting. My Second Amendment rights go far beyond hunting. They go towards self-protection, and they go towards the citizen's right to protect the citizenry from tyranny. And that is absolutely right. And we don't ever want to live in a country where the government and the police have all the powerful weapons and you have an unarmed citizenry. Because that is a balance of power issue. And you want your populace, your citizens to be armed. And I think we all felt better probably in 1941, knowing that everybody had guns in their homes when we were under attack from a foreign country. So I'm 100% with you on that. And I wish we could do more. You know, when it comes to the hospital, I just want to remind, because I'm on the My Michigan board and I'm on this board, I have a conflict only because of that I'm on both boards. And Mrs. Lalone asked a very fair, specific question of what are your thoughts? And I would ask Kelly to ask our attorney who has expertise in this, can I respond to her without breaking my requirement of abstaining from participation in the decision-making on this? Because I'd like to respond to her, but I need to do what's right. And if you would check on that for me, please. So, I can do it outside of this board as well. You know, I mean, I don't have to do it here at a meeting. I can certainly make my views known to Mrs. Lalone and others outside of this. But those are the things I'll touch on.
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate, you know, working with three of these folks here before on Second Amendment issues, I don't think you're going to find any stronger supporters at the county level in any county. You know, we're across the Upper Peninsula, gun ownership is about 87% of the households. So you're in a very pro-gun area as it is. And like he said, Commissioner Shackleton said, it's Second Amendment isn't there to guarantee our rights to hunt and to poke holes in the paper. So it's very important that we, you know, I like to say, you know, they like to look historically and say, you know, back when the Second Amendment was written, we only had flintlocks, but back when the Second Amendment was written, our citizens had rifle barrels and our government had smoothbore muskets. We were supposed to outarm our government. So, I mean, there's my view on the limits of the Second Amendment. As far as the hospital and the other building purchase that was suggested, those are such as the infancy stages right now. Everything is exploratory still. Good that you're on it. I really like the suggestion of, you know, I really like you pointing out the practicality of, hey, we don't really have a nice meeting room. And while we're at it, that's definitely a good consideration to have. And appreciate your folks' input and time you took to be here.
And the meetings are recorded and posted. They have been for a long time. And if you think this is bad, you should have been over in the old building where you couldn't hear anything. I'm sorry, I jumped in there.
That's
right. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Trainer.
Well, the way I look at it with the hospital, I've been elected by the people of Chippewa County, my 5 districts or townships out there. And I've gone to the senior dinners. I've gone to the township meetings. I've talked to all of them. And their main thing is we got to keep the hospital and get the best health care we can get here for them. So we've got to do the best that we can to support citizens of the county. Second Amendment, my wife and I have been doing gun shows for over 20 years. So, you know, I'm pro Second Amendment, no matter what. And it comes down to worst, come and see me. I'll put it that way.
Amen.
All set, Commissioner?
What's that?
Are you all set, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. With issues with Lansing and laws coming down the pipe, the Moose, Fiskey, Bergman, I mean, that's where you want to go. They're the movers and shakers. And the House and Senate are both significantly split. So it would only take 1 or 2 people switching sides, actually only 1, in order to stop anything like that from coming. And I think it would be foolish. Like you said, 87% of viewers own guns. And everyone, I'm sure everyone on this board owns guns, plural. So that was something I wanted to, you know, we are limited. As far as the 40 votes and voting and things like that, that is something for either the AG's office or for the clerk for the county, as far as who our officers are or law enforcement officers. In one way, of course, Sheriff Bittner, and in another way, obviously, Mr. Stratton, the prosecutor. They are the top law officers here. They have problems there. There are some meeting rooms down in the, it's called the dungeon, but that's where we meet. There's meeting rooms down there. It's not pretty, it's pretty basic, but you won't be interrupted. As far as the sheriff or whatnot, not keeping their appointments, we are kind of limited on what we can do. Sheriff's Department, I mean, he's duly elected by the people of Chippewa County. So, coming to us on issues of law enforcement can be frustrating because our hands are tied. As far as you want to know what buildings we own and don't, Mr. Kalchak has a wonderful drawing. It's all color highlighted of what we own and what my Michigan owns and stuff like that. It's really a simple read. I strongly suggest, and Mr. Kalchak will bend over backwards to help you all out as far as that goes. As far as the Lynn Auto Parts thing, that is, correct me if I'm wrong, very much in the beginning stages. I wish maybe you all have been here when, I mean, the issues where we're storing our stuff right now. It is going to cost this county hundreds of thousands of dollars. The equipment is rusting, it's falling apart. There's bird droppings on all the equipment. And on top of that, they got to go all the way out to Kinross to get their stuff to come maybe on Lake Superior. I think Sault Ste. Marie is a much better place for that from a logistics standpoint. I mean, you're literally a block away from the sheriff's department. It is like, boom, you're in your unit and off you go. No going all the way down to Kinross, come all the way back up to the Sioux. I think that will save lives. And I think I missed anything, gentlemen?
Sounds like you covered it pretty good, Mr. Chair.
All right.
I did have one other thing.
Yes, sir.
I did see Senator DeMoose on Saturday down in Petoskey. I talked to him and he's right on the Second Amendment thing, but where we got the problem, we're outnumbered.
Yeah, but like I said, it's only one. If the Democrats do not govern from the middle, they'll lose the next election. I promise you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, look at today, look at what they're doing right now. They just repealed right to work and they're empowering the unions again.
I've had a rough week. So
I know, but I'm just saying,
it ain't days.
I don't think they're governing from the middle. I guess that's my point.
Well, then, like I said, there will be consequences because Michigan is a conservative state.
Yeah.
And you better figure that out or their grasp of power will be very short-lived.
It's not acting.
And plain and simple.
He said their hands are tied. They're outnumbered.
And
they said it's going to get passed. The first one here, this first step that's going in.
I would think Second Amendment, somebody, is there a Democrat in the UP? Someone.
There's one, but she's
A
voting.
Democrat in the UP would have
There's
to.
a number, yeah.
The
Or else
NRA,
they won't.
would you think they'd be smart because they're gun owners too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. So, yeah, it seems at times that they think their mandate is too close. It's not a mandate. Winning by one vote is not a mandate.
He did say that it will end up going to the Supreme Court in the end anyway, if it does get passed. So they're going to wait it.
We will go from there. As for Mr. Mower's comments about the debt, the lease and things like that, that is again the question for Mr. Kalchak. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, absolutely. Motion to adjourn. Do we have a
I'll
second?
support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a blessed week, gentlemen and ladies.